I found it now.
Oh,
Ah,
What is up, kings and queens? Today is the second segment of the H to the power of 4 series. I got my guests in the house. First up, we have Lebo. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. Lebohang Beche, Masimlazi, Magazi Bangazi, and we're here to talk about hopes. There's no time.
Piwe.
What's up, guys? Up here, Mjambo. Yeah, bruh. What it do, what it does.
Cindy.
hey guys, Cindy Siwe Wakasilia, but everybody says Cindy, so yeah, that's what it is.
Let's get it.
Okay. What does success mean to you guys? Just tell me what success means to you. Do you want me to say who must speak? I feel like
Umkhombe.
Stand.
Yeah.
What does success mean to you?
Okay. For me, I think, okay, firstly, I think it's different for everyone, of course, depending on what you've seen, like how you've grown up and the people around you, what you've experienced and whatnot. Okay, with that being said, for me personally, it means being happy and having everything you could ever want whenever you want it. I don't know if that makes sense. But like if I want something, I can just get it, while being happy, not because I know that whatever I have and everything that I want to do because of me. I don't know if I'm making sense, like, yeah. I don't know how to
So you
explain it, but
basically
yeah.
you're saying it's like it's subjective basically. It's different to each and every person in a way.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
That's like my
It definitely
Very
is.
subjective.
Yeah.
Because we all want different things.
But at the same time, I think you can all agree with those things. Ukuthi comfort with being able to afford indoors, being able to do what I need to do when I want to do it without having to think too much about it,
So then come about success in like economical or like
Jay, in general, like
Generally.
Jay, like anything, Jay, like even being happy, like I feel like that's a part of a success for me. Like,
Yeah.
like with all of that materialistic stuff, like also be happy, like within yourself. I'm content. I'm happy with life, and yeah, I think that's part of success for me.
Success inking, it's because you can do something and be successful at that thing and think local is gonna make you happy, or when you reach the end you think, okay, this is gonna make me successful, and then you reach there and then you're like, okay, I'm not really happy. Because I was listening to a podcast and of Vince Staples, the It Drink Champs, and he was talking about there was an album that he released that he made all the songs with the intention of like to be synced on movies. On a movie or like campaigns and shit like that, because there's big money in that. So he made all these songs, and also it worked. For the most part, it worked because he's got songs in so many movies. He's got songs in Black Panther. His songs were picked up by Call of Duty. He got approached by FIFA and all that, and he got money, like serious money. But Uzi, he felt like, because it was successful in that then the person again and he got the money, but after that he felt like those were all like wasted years, because he wasn't creating anything like of substance, or seeing things happening around him. At when Uzi, there were people dying around him. I'm paraphrasing, but Uzi, he felt like if he died, then life would just like carry on. Like he felt like those were wasted years in a way. So Nalo Guzi, he felt like that would to him that was success, getting money and getting, you know, all these shows, booking festivals, getting his music on these movies or whatever. But then now he's like, you know, he's not happy about that. So the success, I also feel like it's a thing that changes a lot. Because even me, even myself, my idea of success when I was in matric is different from my idea of success now. You know?
That's so true. That's very
I
Mm.
true.
agree.
Because manje, I feel like as you grow older, I feel like it's similar for people in that as you grow older, you realize ukuthi part of success in a show ukuthi being content and being at
Yeah.
peace with where you are. Because there will always be someone doing better than you. There will always be someone who's smarter than you, this, that, and the other. There will always be that. And if you're chasing all those things to cover all those bases, because you won't cover all the bases. But
Yeah.
do
Content's
what's
number one.
within your own, like your own capacity. Do what needs to be done. Do it at your very best. Wazi, rest assured, okay, I did all I could. Ubi loco, I've reached a level where I can say, okay, I've done all I can do. And I'm like, it's all about that ultimately. You come to this earth, you fulfill your purpose, whatever that may be. And in that, finding that purpose and being in that purpose will give you that fulfillment that you need and your ultimate success in a way.
Like, I feel like success is whatever it means to you.
Mhm.
Like, measure it yourself, because you're not trying to reach success through what we see, like apparently. That's never gonna work.
Yeah,
Like,
must
what
stand
is
at
it to
abantu
you?
zokubulala mfana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because a lot of us, man, we live in our standards about, and the mundo will you'll never find peace. Because it's all, the goalpost is always shifting.
Ne
Yeah, it's always
timeline,
crazy.
ne timeline.
Mm.
Ubona umuntu at 21 eseyi-CEO. Wena uthi how guys ngenzeni mina, what am I doing with my life? Kanti nje stay where you are. Do what you must,
Yeah.
dala what you must, and you will get to wherever you need to be. And I
Yeah,
think,
man,
yeah.
timeline inkinga, man. Because I was talking with Ulise, like she was saying she saw this like video or whatever, and she was like, these girls from like Britain or England, they were like saying if, and they were like 18 or something, 19. They're like, if you still live with your parents, like you're bum at like 21. If you don't have like, you know, X amount of digits, I'm like, it's we're so detached from reality. Yeah, boy, because these girls live on the timeline. On the timeline, one of my anomalies that are so, you see anomalies that make so much that it makes it seem like this is how it should be. Like Bona Olo Yari, he's not even like 25, but it's like a gazillion. I'm not the marine, but like all these you see like Olympians at like 16, because we're watching the Olympics, man. See girls that are like 16 swimming in finals for the Olympics. Yabo abantu abano 18 kanjalo. And these are anomalies. By no part is this like normal. Yabo. But now because we're seeing this on the timeline so much, it makes it seem like it's normal. Sometimes food is not by intention, to sort of, this is my cousin, she just started a business and she's 21. And and someone is looking at it in Gamaya, it's not like you can I'm not that's it. But yeah, I get what I'm saying. It's you don't sometimes you post these things on the internet not to flex on people, but mind you, it has effects. So yeah, being detached from reality is a big thing now. Even imagine someone on Twitter and she posted like a few selfies and she said, Netflix hire me, Twitter do your thing. It's like what do selfies have to do with your acting abilities? You know, it's like, you know,
Yeah, what about to put another thing? Looks are a currency, man. How you look.
Yay!
yeah,
Oh gosh.
I think that's why.
Definitely.
Because a lot of people are just riding on pretty privilege out here.
I don't think that's the standard of how life should be. Because talent, honestly, I think I had that conversation with you, Lebo, about the whole thing of Uguti. I was talking to you about the YouTube channel and I was like, how do I get more of this, how more views and whatnot? And you were like, sometimes people have like a large following and their content is not that great and vice versa. So it's like people don't bank on talent to go to, okay, we are looking at the quality of the content or we are looking at the quality of what you're producing. It's always that outward thing of ukuthi ngokukubuka nje ngithi appeal, you look like you will sing, you will dance, you will act, you will do everything just by looking at you. Literally, that's like the irony of people always saying, don't never judge a book by its cover. People say that, but they're literally doing that with the whole pretty privilege thing. Do you think the hindrances of starting your own thing is the lack of taking initiative in people, or is it the lack of resources, or is it both?
I mean, I always feel like it's resources because you always see people. God, I put no. At the same time, sometimes people are lazy. That's a fact. I'm quite opinion. But sometimes what you are wanting someone to is trying, but it's just not happening. You know, knocking on doors, no one's answering, and then Masawa will see they're not trying anymore because by man I've tried, it's not working.
Yeah.
Because you never would know the struggles people face. Now, but you don't know how deeper it is.
Yeah.
So,
And the thing of knocking on doors is hard, guys.
More than anything, I feel like it's lack of reason.
Yeah. And lack of people who are willing to like kind of like bet on you in a way of what's okay, I knocked at this door. I need this person to help me out with this. And that person being kind of like reluctant to help you out. Now for their own reasons, but at the same time, it's kind of disheartening of Wuti. I would like a chance type of thing.
And I could put the thing with Jaga and then you'll knock on the door, they'll answer, they'll like you, but your brand is just not big enough or your whatever is just not big enough. So I'll go with the safe choice. This one in glass, they've got the numbers, they've got this, they've got that. Like that, that's soul crushing for me. You know what you're capable of. Because you're not that big, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. I think I'll jump on the lack of resources thing as the biggest driver to people not starting their stuff. And resources for me, I think also includes knowledge. I think there's the access to knowledge for South Africa is kind of more specific. Even that's a Durban, is a huge lack of knowledge about certain things because what I've seen would see people who are trying to start their own stuff, they kind of look to other people, okay, can you help me out and do this, or like they only look at everyone looks at the same avenues. Can't even so there's a whole new world out there. There's like a million different avenues of doing one thing, and they're more in like the internet is helping or is there to help people to look for those other avenues. So I think there's a lack of knowledge and a lack of access to knowledge is also holding a lot of people back.
I agree with what Ule was saying now because I feel like even the thing that causes people to like not wanna maybe like keep knocking on doors because they don't have the knowledge. Maybe they're just knocking at the same doors and not like at different doors because they don't know, they don't have the knowledge. And then if there is someone that has the knowledge, they're not sharing it because for whatever reason, because maybe they don't have the platform or because they're just not sharing the information. But people don't know where to go or where to start or what to do, So yeah, for me it is resources and like even if it is the other aspect that you mentioned of people just not being motivated enough to just put in the hard work is just because it's so draining and like you have to keep picking yourself up and it's just like countless times where it's just like it becomes too much, and like
Yeah.
adding on to no resources, no knowledge of what needs to be done, what's the next step, like which direction to go, which direction to go, and where to look at, who to go to, and stuff like that. Just can be
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, to add to that, you would see the thing of knocking on the same door, everybody wanting to do the same thing. I'd advise people to like do research, even on things that are related to what you want to do, even things that are loosely related to what you want to do.
What you guys are saying about knowledge and and resources, do you think the schooling system plays a huge role in a person knowing what options they have? Like, I know people usually eskoleni, they will tell you about like, yes, career choices and whatnot, but it's always very mainstream of what you can be a doctor, a lawyer, this, that, and the other. And yes, people do come from different places to come and tell you about career guidance, but it's never really opening you up to a whole new world of Uguti. I can be something else other than being a doctor or a lawyer or being this. Or is it the schooling system's fault? Or is it because our leadership as a country hasn't really, or us as a country aren't opened up or don't have enough to accommodate all these different avenues of careers like they do something overseas?
Yeah, for that, I'd say the schooling system does what it does, but it does what it can do. First, I wouldn't say it does what it can do, but it can only do so much, bruh. Because let's say you're interested in literature, or you're interested in book, and one day you're going to become an author. Let's go ahead in matric. We read one novel and like one play. Is that's the case? One novel, one play for English. And that's because that's what we can do and analyze it. Because imagine they said you're going to do 5 novels and 5 plays. That would be like almost unrealistic. You wouldn't be able to get in depth. But if we're interested in literature, if you really are interested in literature, you'll go to the library. You'll take out more books by the particular like author that you like. Yeah. Well, if you're interested in arts, right, you go and research arts and experiment. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think the schooling system is pretty level. We learn to. Architecture. We learn about those architects that like are pioneers in their particular styles or in their countries, but you're not gonna learn about every architect, right? You're not gonna learn about, because it's like, yeah, well, even with the music, there's new artists coming out every day. You're not gonna learn about every artist who's doing something new. So that needs, I think school does what it can. Maybe it doesn't do the most that it can, but it does enough, and it drive needs to come from low mood to a certain extent, I feel, because there's only 365 days in a year, and there's only so many hours that you can spend learning. Yeah, well, sometimes you need to have your own time. You need to create your own time to research what you really love. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
if I were to play defense for the schooling system, yeah, well, that's
I feel
But I feel like with the information that people get, it's very surface level. Yeah, well, because like with law, bazofike bakutshele ngokuthi you become a lawyer, kunje nakanje nakanje nakanje. Like the basics, you have modules, you do this, these are the modules you get, but they never tell you, oh, there's subfields within law. You can do criminal law, you can do cyber law, you can do bani. Everybody say, like, most likely in high school, Mawas, you want to do law, you know, to the Senkantol, you're doing what, litigation or mitigation, but that's all you do,
litigation.
And there's never there's never oh my gosh, there's cyber law, there's criminal law, there's maritime law, there's ban law. Yeah, but I feel like they should delve into it, not just keep it surface level. Isn't there ever decide? No, there's so many other thing careers out there, but it's just very doctor. There's no uzo in the neurosurgery, uzo into good, uzo into good, uzo into good that might peak in your mood. Umuntu uzowenza medicine and then find out like in the third year, oh, bengenza neurosurgery because I feel like that's what I like. And learn to uzoyithola because they
My situation. I was doing radiography, but then like after first year, we found out that there's actually they like separated into like different career paths. So there's like ultrasound, and then there's nuclear medicine, then there's radiotherapy. Like all those things are like different. And like when we got there, no one told us that. So you could have made a decision if we knew in the first year that, oh, this is what is gonna happen. But anyway, yeah, I feel like personally high school can do more, like the government can change the schooling system somehow to ensure that people know that there's a whole spectrum to what you can do, and the varsity can like do more in regards to letting people know that there's different parts to whatever course you do choose to do.
That's true.
For me, I feel like, dog, to a certain extent, it's unrealistic to think that like it's possible to teach people or teach kids the entire spectrum. Okay, maybe not even the entire spectrum, but more variety of like certain things than what's already happening. Yeah, well, because there's gaga. Well, first of all, kids in high school, was kids in school are stressed out at the amount of work that they already is. But also, I feel like okay, there's a module in the history of architecture. The history of architecture, we didn't really learn about all the architectural styles. We just learned about the ones that are prevalent in South Africa, for not even in South Africa, in KZN, Yabo and Durban. We learn about those styles, we learn about the Zulu hats, we learn about Yabo, the Dutch, their sort of Yabo style that they introduced, the the Veranda House, Yabo, the Perea style, blah blah blah, all stuff that it was a lot. Now imagine saying, let's learn all the styles that developed around South Africa. Already, that's including all Cape Town, Johannesburg. All these places had their own kind of, developed. Yeah, well, now imagine saying, let's learn all the styles that developed around Africa or around the world. Yeah, well, it's a lot. Even saying, let's pick the most prevalent styles around the world. Maybe like somebody let's pick like 5 per continent. Well, we're still leaving out a lot of information, and yeah, well, there's always going to be that that you can do more, you can teach us more. There's always more to learn. Yeah, well. So that's why I'm going back to saying, let's see, to a certain extent, you need to have initiative, yeah, well, to say, like, yeah, well, I want to learn about this. Okay, to send these to point they show send ukuthi yabo they bafika and then batshela ukuthi, oh, now they have to branch out into 3 different other categories. That to me was unfortunate, because I feel like that's like a crucial piece of information. Like, you need to know. I feel like you kind of need to know that if you're gonna carry on in that field, you know?
See, that's what I was thinking about.
So in cases like
I need the overview.
Like
Yes.
you want Genesis, so I know. Like psychology, it's not just broad, and it doesn't end in clinical psychology. There's counseling, there's educational, there's neuropsych, there's so many things that you can do, and put it within that. This is you educate them. This is what you do in order to get into this field. This is what you can do to get into this field. Yeah, bro. And then you get going and you take it from there and you run with it. You do what you need to do as a student.
Just let us know. Yeah.
Yeah, but let people know. There's more to this than just Logos in Chelagon. It's not one time. It doesn't start and end
Definitely.
here.
Okay. In that respect, then yeah, I could ride, but there's any ellipses, but benefits of the doubt.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thinking about it, team. Also within the subject, but a bit outside of it. Of Uguti, some people are not like, how can I say, book smart, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
for
Yep.
them,
Yep.
maybe their thing is being on the soccer field or the basketball field or just sports. And some schools lack those sports facilities because obviously the first thing people think about, you go to school to get good grades. Well, okay. It's a definite thing with your phone, right? But I feel like all students get painted with the same brush of Uguti. If you are not getting A's, or if you are not as smart as we expect you to be, you will amount to nothing in life, right? In my head, in Dabasama resources and how schooling systems can change the whole system, or our government make more facilities maybe for they're really good at soccer. Maybe soccer is an extramural at the school, extramural activity. I think that's what it's called. But yeah,
Yeah.
make that allowance for that person or a program that person can enter into after school, mhlambe, or give them pamphlets or some information about those kind of places. Basasesikoleni, kungabi ukuthi just cause engawutholi straight A's, uTom engawutholi straight A's njengoBen, uTom is now stupid. Because I've been researching this whole thing of ukuthi there are different types of intelligence, right? And we are always so caught up with the intelligence, ukuthi I can get good grades. But there's many different types. I think there's 7 types of intelligence or 8 lab. So I feel like in a way, schooling systems can work on evoking those different types of intelligence. And in Gabuguti, just because you're not getting those straight A's, you will amount to nothing in life or something along those lines.
Giving people hope that even though I'm not good at math, there's still something I can do with my life. Doesn't just end here because I'm not going to be a doctor or a lawyer, you know?
Exactly. Ukuthi ngisangaba yinto ngingawutholanga u-X, guys. I still couldn't find X, but I can still be a person, do something in life.
Yeah, well, and some people are good with their hands. So it's not about something zandla. They use their hands.
Exactly.
Ngokuba nje lutho. They bakwazi ukukhanda ugesi. Yabona all that, those things. And yeah, but touch on that. I see you should say, oh, just touch on it. There's alternatives, guys. It doesn't start and end with books.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, that's why it's important. Let's go to Oyaksona. Choosing the right school is important. And choosing the right school comes from like researching. But also there are some people who are not privileged with the choice of going to the right school for them. And to that respect, I can yeah, the schooling system needs to make a lot more things accessible. Goes back to the point like accessibility. There's a lot of accessibility problems that we have yeah.
Speaking about
Standing
that,
in the way of someone's success or someone's hopes. Yeah, well, the lack of accessibility. You see how I tie everything back?
okay.
Get me on the show. This is why I hope you're watching.
The rapper in the house.
We see you.
The rapper in the house. I'm telling you.
Like a boss.
So, guys, with that said, you talk about accessibility and people not being privileged, some people not being privileged. How, in your view, does privilege tie in with success?
That's just when I said privilege, I didn't mean like money. I'm just saying some people don't have the privilege to have the choice. Someone comes from a wealthy family and can do everything, but and they can't stand up to their parents, blah blah. You're not
Yeah.
privileged with choice. That's what I'm saying. Some people aren't privileged with the choice.
Mhm. No, now
But-
I get that. I'm like shifting
Yes,
focus to the
I
side.
think for the
To the
viewers, asterisks viewers there. You know?
Okay. To the
Can
side.
you repeat your question?
How privilege and success tie in? What, in your view, do you think? Do they impact each other? And if so, how?
Ma'am.
How privilege and success tie in together, right? Or do they okay, let's say, how does privilege impact success? Does it impact it? Does it not impact it? And how?
It definitely impacts it. I think privilege is one of like the driving factors into being successful at what you do. Because putting the privilege in our categories, there's the monetary privilege, you could see you're well off. Some people it's like a thing of you're born into wealth, or you're born into poverty. Some people it's a thing of the type of home that they come from. Some people are from very free homes, and so you can do whatever your heart desires. Some people come from strict, some people are pretty, some people are pretty privileged, and all of these things tied to success differently, and tied to the success differently depending on which field you want to get into. If you want to be like that's it. If you want to be a model, then obviously pretty privileged ties into it. And want to be an actor, even acting, being pretty. But if you want to be like a gymnast, when you want to be a gymnast, it's more than the money comes into the factor, because being a gymnast is a very expensive sport. If you want to be like a race car driver, so it's very case sensitive, as they say.
Yeah, I agree with what Ule was saying. Like, I feel like it depends on what you want to do. As you said, like sometimes it's what you want to do or what you want to go into. Depends on whether you have the support for it. Like, do you have people backing you with, whether it's with money or support and stuff like that. Like it all depends on who you know. Like, how have you grown up? Like, who have you been around? Whereas somebody who wants to do the same thing might not be able to do it just because they didn't have that support and that background that you have. So I feel like it definitely depends on what you want to do. But I feel like it's also like it can also go with how hard you work for whatever you want. So even though someone might not have that support or that privilege of having money, or if you're working hard enough to get what you want and be where you want to see yourself, you can make it work. Where it won't be as easy as the person who has the privilege and all of that, but you still can do it. I don't know if I'm making sense, but yeah, that's how I feel about it.
I used to have I remember back in like high school, vividly matric. I used to think like, if you work hard enough at something, it's gonna pay. Like it's gonna pay off. Well, I guarantee, like
We all thought.
that perspective has changed.
Everybody.
We
And
were
it used
brought
to
back
work,
to
though,
reality.
guys. Cotton was not wrong. That thing used to work. Like hard work used to pay off.
In
Like,
high school, hard work
The
pays
real
off.
world-
I feel like
the
it
real world
stops at a
doesn't.
certain point.
Yeah, I think
And-
it's like now. I feel like hard work. Like if you work hard enough at anything, like in like a utopia, not even like a utopia, but like I feel like it can. But sometimes your hard work is gonna reach like a really dead end. Because even hard work in the wrong area
Hey guys.
is it reminds me of the lyric J. Cole. The good news is you came a long way. The bad news is you went the wrong way. Yeah, well, it's like even hard work in the wrong place will be is detrimental to you. Yeah, well, you need to
Yes,
be
kanjani that place,
hardworking
guys.
in the right place. And that's what I think I think that comes back to like privilege. It's like, are you privileged to know? Like, would see this is why you're privileged to have that knowledge. You would see, okay, this is where you want to be. Yeah, well, I think it has privilege. I'm not sure. As any is like, I didn't know how to tie it back, but I think it kind of relates to education. I feel like having a mentorship is a big deal. And it's gonna help. It helps like mitigates like a lot. What's the word? Mitigates. I don't know, but it helps
Mitigate.
like
That one, I think that one's mitigate. Litigate was layer, yeah, appeal.
yeah.
Yep.
But I think it
Yeah.
helps
Hey.
some problems having a mentor, because let's say like you pick a mentor and when that mentor is speaking to you and like having a mentor will help you realize, okay, this is what I want to do, or this is not what I want to do, or I'm in the wrong place, or I'm going about this wrong. I think mentorship in like schools, especially like in high school phase, but the beginning of like the FET phase, grade 10, 11, is could help a lot of people out, because there's a lot of people doing stuff that they're not supposed to be doing because they didn't get about that help or that mentorship at the right time. I don't know. I think it ties with Lento, a privilege, and being privileged to have access to something, and also their education. I didn't know how to bring it in, but yeah, I was also thinking about that. I feel like I'm talking a lot.
That's the whole point. So you're doing good.
You're doing good, sir. You're doing good. So, when it comes to balancing your dreams and basically you chasing your goals and all of that, and also balancing time spent with your loved ones, how does that work in your guys' minds? How do you do that? Like ingabe ukuthi njalo nje mina ngiyasebenza ngise-ofisini njalo. When people need me, they can't find me. When my loved ones need me, they can't find me because I am married to my work. How do you think you guys can balance that, especially with how busy life is and how much time flies? How do we balance that?
I feel like it's priorities, but you prioritize the people and the things you want to do and put in your, knowing the importance of your family, your friends, doing something outside of work. Yeah, well, with that, you can always find the time. As small as it is, let's just was told about at this time I don't compromise. This is what I do. Yes, that's so good. Yeah, well, and then you put your own work at the same time. I feel like it's a matter of priorities more than anything. Knowing what's important and trying to maintain those relationships and those activities you do outside of work.
Knowing what's important is
And put it, that's a lot of work because we all understand.
Yeah.
Family is important. We know friends are important. God, I must speak it, guys, and you have to make that time. Now
yeah.
Bang, who's important? Who's important here?
I was listening to Uti Pen as well. Uti Pen, well, he said like he stopped doing music for like a while because he realized he wasn't a father to his kids, and he wasn't a husband to his wife. He'd be on the road like so long that he didn't really know his kids. He wasn't seeing them grow. But I think he said like his kids started calling him like the second daddy, because their first dad was the one they watched on TV. Yeah, well, which is sad. That made him understand, shit, bro, I need to go back home. And him realizing that is like fair to. It's not an easy thing to realize. Especially when you like, yeah, but I'm working for my family. In order for them to live the life that they're living, I need to do this. It's like, and also, I don't know. I feel like it's a hard thing to come to the realization of, because even around you have people begging you up. You're on the tour, hey, bruh. Snoop Dogg said like at one point he was doing 365-day tour. That means like the whole year he was on tour. I'm like when I heard that I was like shit, the guy was getting money. I go doing a show every weekend and something like even like 50 grand a weekend. That's a lot of money. But
Mm.
as I thought about it some more, I was like shit, like then when does he get time to spend time with his kids and all that, and like what's the relationship between his kids, and he was making it like he was talking to Uvin Staples again. He was making it seem like yeah, do more shows. We were on a tour 365 days. But also imagine having people around you like make sure like yeah, it's a great thing. Yeah, get this money. So it's not easy to burst like out of that cloud. Ubon to shit. There's
It's
a lot.
life
I need
out
to think
there.
about my family, to think about
Mm.
my
Mm.
friends. And then there's always this thing of there's always casualties when you have to get to the top. Slowly at the top because it has to be number one. It has to be the only one. Get to the sacrifices. That all of that sort of feeds into this thing. In your head. You see, yeah, I should.
Just
This is
get
how
it.
I should
Whatever
do it.
means necessary, you
Yeah,
need to
it's
get
almost
that
Yeah,
like
bag.
an
Yeah,
adrenaline rush
yeah,
of just
boy.
I need
Uh,
more. I need more.
sure.
especially in this capitalist world we live in where money is everything. Yeah,
Mm.
bro. And when you see it coming in, it's like, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Capitalism.
I'm making this bag. Yeah, but and then you forget about everybody else. Because I put this is important. But it's like, hey, bruh, money, money, money. So bringing back
Exactly.
into to prioritize. Sometimes you're gonna
Yeah.
have to sacrifice a bag for time with your wife and kids. Yeah, when then so
Mhm.
nje zikhona lezo zinto. It's a message of prioritizing. It's like something I'll just have to give up in order to make time for A, B, and C.
Sometimes who's important to you and their opinion matters so much. And then my mom, my dad, my sister are the most important. Are the most important things to me. And then they tell you, go get that money. They tell you, yeah, do what you're doing now. It's like, yeah, now I'm gonna do it because and they're not realizing which it's becoming detrimental to the relationship.
Training.
Yeah.
Mm,
You're drifting away, trying to chase what they told you to chase, and then it becomes a problem.
And
Yeah.
capitalism.
Just touch on what Uleb was saying, that it's also about like realizing that what is not okay. Like, okay, as much as like Snoop Dogg was saying, he's working 365 days a year. Like, you're not getting any time with your loved ones. Like, as much as your career is giving you like all the money you could ever ask for, like it's not nourishing your spirit or your soul, because
Yeah.
you're not with
Mm.
loved ones. You're not with the people that you're trying to be successful for. Like, I feel like, and what Poppy was saying, like about prioritizing, you can do both. And like the world we live in now, you can always do both. Like, as much as you're securing the bag, also having time with the people that you love and the people that just where you have that warm energy and that love there's always a way to have a balance. And when you don't, it's when people like just get destroyed and they don't even realize it. It's like, "Oh, I'm losing it
And
because I haven't
Mhm.
secured myself."
it's so important to have time for yourself as a woman.
Hey, I was
Know
about to
what
say
you
that.
like and
Yep.
because you could get a bag and then live for your family. And then at the end of the day, you getting this bag. I think I said, oh, I'm chilling with my family. I think I said, oh, start to go and enjoy. Because now
Mhm.
super, when I pay. Because now as much as they want to spend time with you, they have lives. You can't always be in each
Mm,
other's spaces all the time. So now you need to
mm,
deal with yourself. What do you like? What does Uber right mean to you for at the same time? Yeah,
Mhm.
well. So
mm.
first and foremost, I feel like God that you are the main priority, so you can be able to execute everything out.
Mhm. That's true.
That's why I also think it's very important the people who are around you or your friends, yabo, because your friends influence a lot. There's ngikhuluma lento when it comes to like getting money, like labantu laba yabo so somebody iref yabo extend fund or like they win a lot or like I blew it and they blow past that money in like 2 years or something. To me, it's always unfortunate. Like your muntu was stupid, but also unlucky or unprivileged in a way to not have the right people around them, not have the right friends. Because if you have the right friends, they're not gonna tell you, they're not gonna let you do that, yabo. They're not gonna, yabo, if you have the right friends. But sometimes having the right friends is not up to you. Maybe these people are the people who are supposed to be around you, yabo,
At
but
that
they don't
time.
have the knowledge that they need to have in order to help you in a way. Yabo.
Yeah, well,
Fine,
the thing of
yabo, that links to the mpahla le uthi, yabo, show me your friends, I'll show you your future thing. Yabo. And yabo, so when you realize that your friends aren't really doing anything, you're supposed to cut them off. Cutting people off is not as easy as you guys are making it
Experience.
in 2020. In 20,
Yeah.
2020, I
Guys.
mean, 2021, you guys are making cutting people off like, day nine. But sometimes, yeah, well, that person is the person that is supposed to be around you. Sometimes your best friend is supposed to be your best friend. Yabo. But then there's some stuff that they need to learn in order to help you out. But
Mhm.
Because
yeah.
Ngeke deny the fact that we, as people, we stay growing in life. There are
Mhm.
those that choose not to grow, and there are those that choose to. But like we grow in life. Some people are there. I'm starting to realize this whole thing of Wuti, people are in your lentisho level, Wuti, people are put in your life for a reason. Some people will stay for a lifetime, some people are there for that time pen. But whether no matter the time slots that they have, they there to teach you some lesson. Some people will have friends, Bonarabo, oh, I blew it. If they have a friend that is like, let's blow money in this time. For example, that friend could be in your life at that moment to basically test your will to be like, okay, I can use this much money, but I need to think about the future. Maybe they there to test the ability of Wuti. Can you think that far to begin with? Like they there to test that part of you, and that part of you can grow in that way. I don't know if I'm making sense in what I'm saying, but
See,
like,
but with the new money thing, like I
yeah,
blew it. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry to disturb you, but yeah, one of this thing of making new friends, let's say also right now you suddenly have a new friend.
yeah, I
You
know
dishing the
that.
old.
That is
Yeah,
a
well,
mess.
that's another thing that hurts
The
people.
mess.
Because imagine all of a sudden, when you're bora, so kona lava bafuna ukudakwa. Because now at the same time, as much as your friends influence you, how do you think as a person? Also, when
Exactly.
when you can't think of one imali yaphela, you know.
That
So it
is
can't
true.
always be like your friends played you, because now you played yourself. Ubungabona unosuzela 50,000, ubuno 2 million. Yeah, but and they keep spending.
Yeah.
Now
Exactly.
50,000, and it's just like, what are you doing, sir?
And those same people will probably leave my
They
man.
always do.
So
Exactly,
it's like,
exactly.
okay.
Yokuthi ulawula just one more. I think that comes down to like a person's character or personality, and that's also a very lucky thing to have a strong character, or like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
True.
Yeah, definitely.
That's very true. Because Nakona with that as well, it gives you the ability to like choose your friends a bit more wisely than like in Gabu you go with uhamba nabahambai. Like you able
About
to
no more.
say you're able to say, okay, this one seems to be good for me, good for my well-being, my mental health, all of that. And then obviously within that friend group or however many friends you have, you are able to make your own decisions, as Apio was saying. Ungabi ukuthi umngani uthi hayi senze lokho, hayi nami sengizoyo ngena. Ngibona kahle ukuthi it won't work for me. It don't work for me, but ngiyaya because sekushiwo ukuthi asiye ngalapha. So it really helps to have like a strong character. So as we wrap up, each one of you guys can give advice on how basically everything we're talking about in terms of success, give general advice to young people on basically how to carry their lives in a way that they understand ukuthi they are rare, they're original, each person is on their own path type of thing, own pace, own race type of thing. So Nje, any general advice you'll have? I'll start in the order that I'm looking at the screen at. Apiwe?
What? But like I feel like this thing of unique, nan. But first, it's okay to just be a person. Something, oh, that's just so spectacular now. Just it's totally okay, but you don't always have to be extraordinary. You know?
Yeah.
Do you? When what does uphumelela mean to you? But when it could be a 2-bedroom home near Kish in a sitting room, that's fine. You don't need to mansion. No, that's not for you. That's okay. When I just basically do you. Start from home. When? What do you want? What do you feel you need for yourself? And then take it from there. Kosha band.
Yep. Lebahang.
Advice is such a scary thing for me. Like I don't think especially because you're saying must give advice to the young people. I'm a young person.
From what you've learned, from your perspective, let's say that. I always think about it as that.
Yeah, no, I'll just say, just learn new stuff. For me, I think learning about access, because I was talking about access a lot. Learn new stuff. Like you have a smartphone, you can learn a degree on YouTube. Just if you have like an interest in anything, like even into like just go research it, and because that could lead you to where you're supposed to be and where you really want to be. Like I've had to have like 10,000 tabs open on my phone of stuff that I wanna read about. I have my notes I'm of like pieces of information that I don't think I'll ever use. But then sometimes you come past a piece of information that relates to what you want to do. So the biggest thing for me, be yourself. Oh, so cliche, but also learn as much as you can, like about anything. Like it's literally seconds to Google something. Yeah,
if you have good connectivity. Cindy, continue.
Even if you have bad connectivity, ask your mom, bro.
Yeah, I think to appear and have said everything. But for me, I'd say it's about making, like how Appear said, like everyone level has said, that just be yourself. Like it's not about anybody else. As much as you are living with other people and everybody's like around each other, it's not about everybody else. Like we forget about that so like a lot in regards to people around us, whether it's our friends or our parents or like stuff that we see on social media. We forget that it's actually about what you want and what you aspire to be. You know, it's like sometimes you have hopes of like, I actually want to do this, and you like tell people, like, okay, you're a bit crazy. But it's not about other people. It's about what you want. It's about what your hopes and dreams are for yourself. You know, sometimes we get so caught up in everything that's happening around us that we forget that it's actually about you, and do what makes you happy.
Okay.
Sir.
As I
Thank you,
round up
man.
everything y'all have said, guys, everything I have said is good and it's true. My only 2 lines, okay, not 2 lines, but like